It's great to be here with Archdeacon Rhiannon King. Rhiannon has become a colleague and a friend of Kerry and myself since arriving in Ipswich in March 2019 as Archdeacon. She's also the director of Inspiring Ipswich, a 6-year initiative involving over 25 Church of England churches in the deanery, aiming to double the number of congregations by 2025. Its vision to see 15,000 contacts made, 7,500 new people exploring their faith, and 1,500, God willing, becoming disciples. Rhiannon, it's great to see you. Thank you so much. And it's great to have you here with us, working alongside you here in Ipswich. So, as you know, I'm asking church leaders as we move into a post-pandemic world, what's the big question that the church should be seeking to answer, the defining question for this defining moment?
Thank you, Simon. I think it's such a great exercise, such a great question to ask. I've been thinking about it, obviously, and I've concluded for me that the big question is, what is God up to? And that's not mind-shatteringly different from the sort of question I think we should be asking all the time, but I still think it's the defining question. What is God up to? And I think we can ask that ourselves in lots of different levels. We can ask, like, globally, what is God up to? We can ask it for Ipswich. What is God up to in Ipswich? We can ask it for our particular churches. What is God doing here? And we can ask it as individuals. And I think different churches are in different places, and there'll be different times, different months, different seasons where we might want to approach it in different ways. But I think that for me is core question. What is God doing? And then when we get an inkling of what our response to that is, then we can just jump on board.
That's so simple and yet so profound, isn't it? What's God up to? What's God doing? And as you have insight across many churches, give us a couple of clues about what do you see God doing? What is God up to that we could join in with?
Well, I reckon, as I said, there are different phases to ask this question, but I think there's a place for us answering it or addressing it practically. And we see all sorts of needs around Ipswich, and churches will want to be part of reshaping and rebuilding community across this town. And so there's quite a sort of an activist, a practical response. And already we're seeing all sorts of things that God seems to be really blessing. I mean, for us in the Anglican churches, we're seeing like pop-up shops and all sorts of things like that, where we're seeing people come and ask interesting questions. I think also there's the missional question. I just feel, and I'm sure you do as well, Simon, that this is the most extraordinary opportunity for the churches throughout the land missionally. So many people, more than we expected, are interested in prayer and interested in the church. And I just feel we've got to grab hold of that opportunity. I also think there's a real importance of asking some deep questions. Not necessarily right now, but there needs to be a time when people ask those deep theological questions about, where has God been in this suffering? And I think if we don't give ourselves the chance in church to ask and look at those deep questions, we'll have a whole generation of Christians pushing that sort of thing under the carpet. So I think, we need to give ourselves time to do that. And then all of it needs to be underpinned in prayer by really just seeking God and discerning what is God saying to us. And I think lots of things are coming out. I mean, we've learned that we're more than our buildings. We've learned that God's doing a new thing digitally. We've learned that nothing stops God growing the kingdom. So all sorts of things, I think are bubbling up. But I think each church has got a very exciting future ahead, discerning what is God saying to their church.
Brilliant. Rhiannon, thank you so much. That's so helpful. What's God doing? And let's join in with it. Rhiannon King, thank you ever so much indeed.
Pleasure.